What's going on, YouTube? We are on another episode of Just Drive Cars and Life. I'm your host, Naveed, and we got Brian in the house.
How's it going?
You tell me.
That's going great.
It's good to have you here. Brian is general sales manager?
Yes, sir.
At Lewisville Autoplex.
That's right.
So if you guys want anything custom or anything badass, give this guy a call and he'll for sure take care of you.
Absolutely.
How long have you been there?
A little over a year now.
A little over a year now. Yeah, I visited there, a couple of weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
I just like that Corvette lineup that you guys had there.
Yeah, we try to change things up a little bit too on that patio.
Yeah.
And inside the showroom, cars don't stay there often.
Right.
Constant revolving of inventory. So we're trying to keep things fresh.
Nice. So long story short, guys, how me and Brian met was actually on my Twisted Sisters rally that we had a couple weeks ago. But I feel like we just did it like yesterday or something like that.
That was the best time. The best time ever, the best roads. It was awesome.
It was epic. So when we first started off the rally on day 2, me and Brian kind of got stuck left behind. But thankfully for our radios, we were just getting in contact, and one of the photographers / videographers, Keishan, Melty Mini Media as his Instagram, started recording me and Brian, and we took these back roads uphill, downhill, like it was just epic the whole entire time. So
yeah, it's like we stole the cars and we were trying to get away from cops.
Right.
It was amazing. So.
And your car was basically glued to the ground the whole entire time. Like I was looking from the rear view mirror and then from the front. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, we were looking at some of the raw footage he sent over to us.
That's right.
It does look it's like pancake to the ground, and all you hear is your exhaust over everything, and then some of my pops and burbles.
Right.
So it was awesome. I was shocked the little Mini Cooper could actually stay somewhat in the vicinity of us. But
speaking of,
awesome.
I gotta give you a story on that one. After we do the podcast, so I'm gonna take your Diet Coke right here because apparently I just broke this whole thing. So I'm going to drink out of that while I'm thirsty. So
nice.
Also, Diet Coke is not paying us, but then again, a Diet Coke always sounds good. So
that's right.
Cheers, guys. Anyways, so your dad got you into cars.
Yeah.
All right, tell me the whole story on that.
So my dad used to street race back in the day. He used to sell ice cream at the drag strip at Texas Motorsplex. So he was always around it. He built 2 Mustangs when he was a kid in high school, and was into fast cars, custom trucks. Did a lot of body work, paint work himself. Kind of learned by actually doing. And I always asked him, how do you know so much about these cars? When I was a kid, I was like 5, 6, 7. I used to draw cars. I still have a portfolio. I used to draw lowrider vehicles, cars and hydraulics on 3-wheel motion, the bed spinning, you name it, I drew it, right? And so he still took an interest in that, and he took me to car shows. He would have me help him kind of be an apprentice when we worked on the truck or work on the car or something in the garage. And he always showed an interest in me wanting to modify my car and making it my own.
Right.
And it started really young, and it's carried on, and it's turned into to me, it's a way of life.
I guess so, yeah.
It's an extension of yourself.
Did you ever used to collect those small Hot Wheel cars or those? Oh man, till this day I still have a grudge against my mom because when I used to live overseas in Iran, or when I was a kid, my uncle, my dad would always get me these Hot Wheel cars, and then the 118 scale, 136 scale all the time. And when I came back in the States in 2005, a year later in the summer, I went and visited home, and I'm looking for my cars, and I can't find them. So I start freaking out. And I'm like, Mom, what did you do with my toy? She was like, yeah, I sold it. Naturally. So I was like, why'd you do that? That has value. And I was, when you're a kid and you have those toys, that's your world right there. That's how you get, started to get involved in cars. And so I was like, son of a, God damn it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but when you get to have that car that you want in real life, though, it doesn't matter what it is. When you get to have that car that you've always wanted as a toy or something like that, whatever it is, you're just like, I'm really happy that I got it. So
yeah, absolutely. With the same thing, models, micro machines, Hot Wheels, you name it. I probably had every little car toy
Right.
And models, there's a funny story that I used to, build plastic models, and
Right.
my parents would go out dancing or to a bar or
Right.
hang out with friends or whatever. And so I would babysit my little sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was one night I was putting together a model for an Apache helicopter.
Nice.
And I was like, this is going to be awesome.
Right.
So got all the paint, had the camo, the OD green, the silver for little pieces. And she said, make sure you do not paint the house. I'm like, no problem. I got this.
I got this. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to watch my favorite show in the living room, so I decided to paint in the living room. And I laid down some paper, I moved the couch over, and I went ahead and sprayed and got off the carpet. And so I realized that it had the outline of the pieces, and it was just spray paint behind it. And I was like, I can't get this out. And so I went ahead and moved the couch over to cover it. To cover the couch. And what I didn't realize was the big picture above the couch was centered over the couch before, and then the indentations in the carpet. So I started moving the carpet, moving the carpet fibers, and trying to make it look right. And I looked at the picture and looked at the couch, and I was like, this does not line up. She's so going to see this. So
Right.
she came home, and she moved the couch, and she about killed me.
Oh God.
So yeah, I learned my lesson on that one
The hard way.
But that's one of the funny stories that keep getting brought up all the time.
Right.
Holidays, and they want everyone to forget it. So.
Yeah, once you do something as a kid, it will never be forgotten, no matter how hard you try or how to explain it differently than what it is. Yeah, it's just not going to work out.
No.
Yeah, so you're going to have to take that ass whooping for sure.
Oh, I did.
So.
I had my dad's last name, or first and last name, that was on a belt backwards on my ass. He had a belt that literally said Jack Day, and it said Yad Kaj on my ass cheeks. I'm not kidding you. This is a real story. I'm telling you. My mom can verify.
Oh my God.
My dad could too. He'd probably be laughing about it.
Oh my, that is funny, dude. That's funny. Oh shit. I'm already picturing that. That's not a good story, man.
No.
But one to remember for sure. Gosh. But so obviously I had a pretty good childhood with the whole entire car experience, which got you into cars. And then tell me about your Acura.
So my parents and I, we were looking for a car for me. I was 15 at the time. I turned 16 January 1st.
Nice.
And we went and found this car literally under a street lamp. There was no buildings. It was in the middle of a field.
Uh-huh.
It was an Acura Integra. It was a 1990 black one. Has some silver TSW 5-spoke wheels. Had a spoiler on it. And I was like, man, this is the ride.
For a 16-year-old, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was
pretty
all
epic,
about
right?
it. And so this was like a 95, I guess, 96. And so my parents were like, man, we tried to get it. Someone else bought it. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I was bummed. I was like, oh my gosh. So they were celebrating New Year's.
Uh-huh.
And then my dad goes, hey, I got your present. I hope you'll like it. It's not your car. I'm sorry. And I walked out in the driveway, and there was that car with a big bow on it. And
So they pranked the shit out of you.
they totally lied to me and put one over on me. And I believed it and fell for it. And I hugged the car, and then I totaled it 19 days later. So,
oh shit! I think we spoke too much. Oh man.
So
we're good.
Yeah. So that happened. Put myself in the hospital. If I wasn't in the hospital from the car accident, my father would have put me in the hospital for wrecking it. So
19 days.
January 19th, day before baseball started. Yeah. And we just moved to a new school.
You just couldn't resist, huh?
No. I was going down a back road. Well, really, it was Hills Creek Drive. It wasn't really a back road in McKinney, but it was a back road to me because I'd never been down the road.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That was the history of that one.
I have stories for days, man. It's so sad.
I think it's interesting though when when you talk about your first car, second car, third car, fourth, yada yada yada. Literally, you could write a chapter of every single one of what you've done, from crazy stunts, from accidents, from stunts that you weren't supposed to do, or stunts that you did. You were really impressed with it.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
What was your next car after the Acura, or what was your next goal?
I got another 1990 Acura Integra. This
Okay.
time my parents said, you're going to get a black one, that's fine, but you're going to get an automatic. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I don't really want to modify an automatic. You know, as growing up, you want a 5-speed or a 6-speed or something to play with, right? And then so icing down the intake, full bolt-ons, I ran a 16.8 in the quarter mile. Sad, okay? And I was feeling good at the time until I got beat by a truck. And I was like, this car is not fast at all. I need something faster. So I went from that to a baby blue Integra, GSR, built head, full bolt-on. And, it was starting to dip into the low 14s, high 13s. I was like, still slow, I want something different. But it was baby blue. It was Carrera blue.
Nice.
And then
You still got pics from those?
I have a couple pictures of the blue one, have more pictures of my black one. The one I wish I had the most pics of, except for the wrecked pictures, was my 1998 Championships White Type R Integra, number 449.
Nice.
And that's the one, that to me was like the holy grail for me at the time.
Right.
And it still is to a lot of people. And to me, it holds a special place in my heart because I miss that car dearly.
Okay.
Wasn't that fast. It was cool back then. Still cool today. It's nostalgia. It's history.
Have you ever seen it in person again?
No, I sold it. So I was actually headed to the track one night and following some friends, and 2 cars flew past me.
Okay.
And one tried to squeeze in between me and another car that was merging into a lane next to me, clipped me, sent me into a wall on 45 over the Trinity River.
Damn.
And totaled my car. So that was my baby, like taken away from me, right? So I have a lot of pictures of it, total, twisted, and wrecked. I actually sold it to Blitz, performance company in Japan, and they had a U.S. shop in Florida. Okay. So they actually came and picked it up and trailered it all the way back to their shop and back half it, made it a drag car. So,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know where it is now. I'm sure it's sold many times over.
Probably.
But, yeah, I miss that car. It was a fun car, and that's one that I want to try to find again.
And it was a hatchback, right?
Yeah, hatchback. So just like, it was in 1998.
Did they ever make like a pace car out of it, or was yours that edition or something like that?
No, the guy before me did track it.
Okay.
He did autocross, SCC.
Yeah.
And so that he did that beforehand, but his name was Brian and lived in Plano, which is kind of crazy. But that's all I remember.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think, the universe works out on its own, so you never know. One day it might just be in a parking lot that you never thought it would be in, or show up at a local auction or something like that.
Yeah, and I have the VIN. I'm sure I can track it down, so with my my work and everything. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
be kind of cool.
Yeah, for shit. I bet. But you got a couple of things coming up though here pretty soon in terms of what you've ordered, and I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I'm pretty excited of what you got, and
I can touch on it.
Yeah, go for it.
So, well, we just recently got made another purchase on a childhood vehicle. Okay. So when I don't know, in like 2000, I purchased an S2000. It was a dream. I was like, when they first started coming out with it, I was like, a Honda rear-wheel drive 6-speed convertible. Yes, that is screaming me all day long. So I bought one. I went to get an oil change, came home with an Audi. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, Marissa, she said, where's your car? And then I was like, I kind of traded it in on this Audi. And she was like, oh no. So then she went and traded her SUV in and got her an S2000, same color as mine, but own stock. Okay. And she's like, you can't touch this one. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And so I practically gave away my S2000 that was modded. Right. And then, so we've always said we wanted to hit another S2000. Well, we found one. That one from a guy named Doug Williams out in Georgia. He took care of it. Great vehicle, red interior, Sebring silver. We just wrapped it. Avery Pearl White. Nice. And then, so that's basically my wife's, kind of like Project Fun car. Project Fun, don't touch car. Right. Well, no, she let me touch. I can touch this one. It has Jay's Racing, front lip. It's nice. And so I do have a vehicle that is being built, should be done this month. Okay. It's one of the 250 Cadillac CT5V Blackwings. That's right. Did the 10 speed. I like the speed.
This car is unbelievably sick. Like, I've already seen pictures of it,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to post them online. I'd rather for you guys to see the car in person. So I can't wait to see that in Dallas. That's going to be an epic car to see for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rare one for sure.
Yeah.
Color combo, everything. It's gonna be cool.
I'm just thinking about it right now. Yeah. It's going to be epic.
And we're in the process of doing either probably an SQ8 or an RSQ8 for the wife. She's in an SQ8 right now.
That's right.
And trying to see if we're going to maybe go for the RSQ8 in glacier white like my RS7 and kind of the same, his and hers type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're contemplating that right now.
It's funny. Audi life.
I know.
And a Honda life.
I know, it's so weird.
German and JDMs. And then your Cadillac comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. It would be my third.
But third car, and you have the best of all three worlds, basically. You got one of the best JDM platforms in the house. You've got, I'm not going to say necessarily decent, but for Audi, for what it is, obviously it's a German-made car, right? So that's good. Then obviously the Cadillac, the powerhouse, American muscle car. So good for you. Shit.
Yeah.
Tell me about your RS7. Why the RS7? What all have you done to it?
So the RS7 has been on my radar for quite some time now, and I had a lot of boxes I wanted to check with this one. And we have my wife and I have two children, 12-year-old and 10-year-old. My son, who's 12, is already taller than my wife,
right?
And he's going to be taller than me, not too far away. So he's growing like crazy. My daughter's growing as well, and we wanted some room that was comfortable for the rear for them, and I wanted something that was mod friendly, very fast. I wanted all-wheel drive. I missed the traction in my Cadillacs. I loved it in my Evos, and you can make big power. I mean, they're very capable vehicles. Well, the power plant's amazing.
I mean, you drove my car.
Right.
It's nothing compared to yours.
Well, it ain't no slouch, though.
Right.
Your car is a beast.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a dragster / had a kid with an F1 car. Like, it depends on what tunnel you're in.
It breaks somebody's neck. That's for damn sure.
Definitely
But
does.
what I liked about your car was the response. It is unreal. Like, I gunned it, and the G-force on that car is unbelievable compared to mine, to where you're driving it, right? But I think you told me that when you're driving my car, it's asking for more.
Right.
So it's kind of, every car has their own give and take, but I hit your car and I was like, I'm about to throw up. That's a lot of G-force, So what are you pushing right now with it?
So I'm pushing about 850 at the wheels right now.
What's your goal?
My goal really is to be 1,000 on the dyno.
Okay.
Now, I could get a little more aggressive with the tune, and I could go with port injection with the way it sits right now. And there have been some RS7s. A friend of mine, Alexi Davidchuk, over in North Carolina, hit 1,000 at the wheels, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, actually, with his same setup with port injection and a real aggressive tune.
Do you have any numbers like what he did in the quarter mile or half a mile?
No, I don't. I did run my car on E7 or E85, about 65%. And I ran 10.7 at 131.
10.7 at 131 at half a mile or a quarter mile?
Quarter mile.
Wow. What did it do in a half a mile?
I haven't done a half mile yet. I need to do the draggy on it as well. I haven't run in the car. I'm getting definitely 0.60s and 2.8, 2.9s, and it's
how much does it weigh?
About 4,800 with me in it. It's 4,495. The full tank, me, and I'm not exactly light. So I mean,
I try to keep a straight face.
I know, and I have Catless APR downpipes, which you can't get anymore because APR with the EPA.
Are they discontinued, or because of the EPA they're not?
Because the EPA they discontinued. So, disclaimer. But so you can't get them anymore. I have the all tuning carbon twin intake. I have the Autotech upgraded plungers.
Okay.
Same ones they put in the Huracans, Urus, you name it. Anything from Lamborghini also. It's all in there. Powerhouse Racing flex fuel sensor. Upgraded tuner, upgraded lines and everything. Aquapovic titanium exhaust. KW V5 pullovers.
Dude, the Acroprovic exhaust system
Is nasty.
is not only is it nasty, but it is fucking expensive.
It is
When I
pricey.
saw from my car, from headers all the way to the back,
Yeah.
it was above, with labor and everything, above 20 grand.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
That's ridiculous.
It is
because
very
it's a full titanium.
Yeah.
But if you have resources otherwhere else in this world,
Yeah.
you can probably get it for cheaper. But it's got a name on it, so
Oh yeah.
I've seen that exhaust systems on F10 M5s
Oh.
and now F90 M5s, and when those suckers shoot flames,
Yeah.
yeah,
It sounds amazing. The pops and burbles, the downshifts, the upshifts. I mean, everything's crisp, clean. And then that's running a 10.7 at 131 on 21 by 10.5 inch wheels.
yeah,
And 295/25, like rubber bands, basically.
Jesus,
Just Michelin Palette 4S's.
Yeah.
And I'm on those Strace carbon wheels. My car's actually on Strace's website.
Speaking of, it was your first time going on Twisted Sisters,
Yes,
right?
ever.
So, how was your experience with that car? Do you think it outperformed itself, or do you think it performed the way that you wanted to, or was there a couple of hiccups here and there? Because like with my car, I did not know it was that capable.
Oh, I didn't either. I'll be honest with you. I did not either, because I was thinking, man, he's gonna be sliding all over the place. Like this is gonna be a lot to handle.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm sure you have maybe hand marks, embedded into your steering wheel, from like you gripping it so hard.
Uh-huh.
But you drove the absolute dog crap out of that car. Like everything about it was, you were on point. I mean, it was. We almost lost it over some of those blinding hills.
We did, yeah, we did.
And luckily we had the radio, so we can say break, or turn coming up, because
Those dips, that's what
I had to worry
godforsaken
about.
dips.
That's why I kept getting pulled back, because my car is so low to the ground.
Right.
And I was dragging. I mean, literally,
Right.
I burned the outer part of my
Yeah,
rubber
you showed me that. Yeah,
quarters.
not only that, I mean, I'm on stock suspension,
Right.
and I was every time from the back. That son of a bitch was so heavy. I mean, and I had tools in the back. What am I going to do? Like you're on a road. If you get stuck, what are you going to do?
I had a cooler. I was hoping that cooler would fly everywhere.
With beer and drinks.
I mean, it did. The Yeti, even though it was sealed, popped the hatch. The whole bottom of the carpet cover soaking wet.
Yeah. No, but other than that, it's like you said. We tore up those roads. Like if we got to do it all over again, I bet we would manhandle those roads.
Oh yeah.
But obviously I'm getting rid of every single tools. I don't care if I got to take the back seats off, just so that when we hit those dips, we don't hit them hard.
Right.
Because it's not like we were scraping the floor. It was just literally our tires hitting the fender wall, basically.
That lower rubber piece actually came off my car.
Yeah. I remember that.
I was dragging. They're like, Brian, you're dragging a belly pan or something.
I remember that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and oh man,
It was awesome.
But yeah, I mean, those turns were just incredible. I was majority of the time I didn't go up to seventh gear at all.
Oh,
I was
no.
in third or fourth the whole entire time. And when we're going up, what's up?
Well, I did get to the point where my speedometer had a white bar on it and a stop sign. I think I told you that story, didn't I?
No.
So,
Okay.
we're leaving Javier's or whatever was it Kerrville? Or not Kerrville. Was it Kerrville?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Mexican joint?
Yeah.
So, you know how I pulled out
Mhm.
on that far end with the Ferrari and all that stuff too, right? Well, then everyone else went up the top side
Right.
and started taking off. And I was like, okay. And then everyone just started hauling ass. And I was like, oh crap, now I'm at the back of I thought it was going to be the front. Now I'm at the
That was
back.
me and you. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was us. Yeah.
So I was having to play leapfrog
Right.
to get around everybody. I didn't
Uh-huh.
want to get caught up to the front.
Right.
And that's when I was coming up on Alex, and
Mhm.
I passed him and asked him, I said, hey, how fast was I going when I passed you?
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, I was doing 202. And
Oh,
so
shit.
we were
Okay.
at dinner at
Morton's?
Morton's.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. So I said, hey, I think it was,
Skip?
no, it wasn't Skip. It was
David?
Tom.
Oh, Tom.
Tom goes,
Okay.
hey,
Yeah.
who topped out their car today? And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, and then Alex said, yeah, I did. And I was like, well, I ended up passing him. And then me and the Porsche, the guy in
Right.
the Porsche,
Yeah,
took
yeah.
off and raced the light too.
Mhm.
So I don't even know what I know my speedo was pegged at 2, but I don't know what it was after that.
Shit.
So I don't know.
If you had your Dragy, it would probably tell you.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I think it's I think a lot of cars don't even tell you what your top speed is. Like Lambo Huracans tell you what your top speed is. Like if you hit like 215 miles an hour, it will show or keep it safe. But it sucks like some cars don't do that. I'm shit, my car's not going to do that. But being part of the 200 mile per hour club, it's super dangerous. But when your car is that smooth, I mean Alex's car. He's got a
Cloud.
Yeah, he's got a V12 in it, and every single time when I'm driving behind him and he's gone, I'm like, yeah, I'm 2 cylinders short. I probably got like 200 horsepower less than him, but his car is just unbelievable. Him, and I wish we had Tom's Audi R8 for Twisted Sisters. I don't know how it would perform, but all I know is that our cars, suspension wise, for those dips, it's not.
My car was way too low for the for the trails, but it was. Yeah, I mean.
It still did what it had to do.
Oh, yeah.
I bet if we had like zero weight, like in terms of any additional weight, I think it would have just done fine.
If I had dropped a few pounds before the trip.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, no, but those roads, remember those boots that we saw?
Oh, yeah. Well, the straightaways.
Right. Well, it was before we even hit Twisted Sister. So we're literally driving down through Kerrville, through the back roads, and then this one house, and I don't know how many acres this house was, but literally had a collection of cowboy boots just hanging out. And I was like, Brian, I bet we can find our own size over there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was very scenic. It was so freaking scenic. Like I was...
we kept asking, like, is this Twisted Sisters? We're like, nope. But the roads heading there were unbelievable.
Remember that valley that we hit? That downhill valley?
For the rocks.
Gosh, yes. Like, man.
I'll tell you this. If you've never, ever, ever been down there, or at least in the area, not just down Twisted Sisters, just in the area and the roads around there, you owe yourself to do it.
Yeah.
It's
in Texas.
Amazing. Right.
Out of all places. Like, you put... maybe 24 hours of your life aside, and you want to get away from everything. You go down to Kerrville or San Antonio, spend the night, whatever. If you have all the energy, you just go down to that area. You start driving these back roads. Like hardly will you see any cops out there. No, I mean it was just we were dealing with a couple of bikers. That's nature of it, but. It's breathtaking. Like you sit there and you're in this aha moment, like holy shit! Like I just drove probably one of the most badass roads in the state of Texas. So
absolutely.
And how we drove the shit out of our cars. But here's the thing: you needed PPF. You were gonna get rock chips. I mean, I replaced my windshield and I got a rock chip from you. I was like, damn it, son of a bitch! I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying. When you're going on that road, rock chips will get on. So if you don't PPF your car, if you don't tint your windows or put any type of protection, trust me, your car is gonna get fucked up. Like make no mistake about it at all.
Yeah, so, I went and had my car taken care of over at Tritech. So my buddy David Chuckman owns Tritech, and so he went ahead and took off the front quarter, him and his team, and then the team actually put on a whole front section, to cover everything, all of the A-pillars and the top of the roof. So
get out of town
to protect the car, because I was like, there was a lot of loose gravel on those roads.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Literally, no matter how many times we tell each other, keep your distance. We're not going to keep our distance because that drive. I mean, at one point you got in front of me.
Here's a funny story. All right, so these radios. Definitely have radios and antennas if you go on a rally like this, and listen. And also check out for Naveed's future rallies too, because they are amazing. They're a lot of fun. Him and Tom did a great job putting things together with Skip and everything. So there was a point where I was kind of leading the second group, and he goes, "Hey Brian, are you gonna push the pedal on the right or something like that?" Yeah,
I think I was along the line saying, Brian, do you want me to lead?
Yeah. Oh, he pissed me off. Not really. But I was like, that mother. So I'm like, okay. So that's it. I turned the corner and just took off and then started kind of separating everybody. I was like, screw this. I'm going to leave them behind. Right. And so they did a great job keeping up and everything. And so we had a lot of fun though. I mean, the moral of the story really is we had a great time. Everyone there just had a lot of fun. We had a great time in joking around, was all good fun.
And then
We
the
even had
donut journey.
the donut journey to Austin.
We literally,
oh my gosh,
we were-
you're telling that one.
Right, we were having dinners. We were having dinner at Morgan's Steakhouse, and we're just chilling there. And I'm just like, everybody just basically is done eating. We're fixing to pay, and majority of us are from out of town. In terms of like visiting San Antonio, but I reached out to a couple of guys. I'm like, guys, are y'all down for dessert? And some of the
I'm
guys
always
were
down
like,
for
yeah.
dessert.
And some of the guys were like, yeah, I'm down for dessert. So I'm like, all right, what do you guys want? Do you guys want ice cream or do you want donuts? And everybody said donuts, the group that we were in. And we're like, okay, guys, we have our cars. Austin is right down the street from us. We could probably get there like in 40 minutes with the way that we're driving.
Yeah.
At, what was it, 11 o'clock at night? 12
Yeah.
o'clock at night on a Saturday.
On
On
Saturday.
a Saturday. And sure enough, 5 of us, 3 cars, or was it 3 or 4 cars? It was me, you, Remy, Dallas, Johnny.
It was
It was the 5 of us. You brought your
and-
car, I brought my car,
2 cars.
and
No,
Dallas brought his
3
car.
cars, that's right.
Yeah, so 3
'Cause
cars.
Dallas got lost on 6th Street. That was funny.
So the time that we went to, usually on the weekends, they'll shut down 6th Street down in Austin so that everybody can go party and do whatever they want to do. But we were just craving donuts, and sure enough, I get to Austin first, and I don't think Dallas was, but yeah, neither you or Dallas were behind me. It was just me and Remy, and so I found a really good parking spot, and I'm texting these guys like, "Yo, you guys need to come and park here." And Remy hadn't been to Voodoo, and the place is called Voodoo Donuts. So Remy hadn't been to Voodoo Donuts. You hadn't been to Voodoo Donuts. Dallas hadn't been to. Nobody had been to Voodoo Donuts except for me. So we. So Dallas with his Lexus, he's going through the roads that are literally closed.
They're blocked off in between the streets. So we're sitting at the light at 6th Street about to make a left-hand turn because it's all blocked off with just craziness. And all of a sudden, we see barricades to our right, and we see Dallas come out of this little crevice. And he's in the middle of the intersection with a red light. No one's driving anywhere except for Dallas is stuck in the middle of the intersection. And he's looking around like a lost dog, like he's looking for an owner. And we're like, is that Dallas? Like, is he already drunk? Like, what's he doing? He's on the wrong side of the road, like facing the wrong side of the road, about to go down another road that's already blocked. And I was like,
Right.
and then all of a sudden he kind of looks around, panicked, and then he just takes off past us. And we're like,
I'm pretty sure it was Dallas. Yeah.
I was like, that was Dallas, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
No, and so we all parked our cars, and sure enough, we're walking through 6th Street, and it was crazy. Like, we saw some things that we shouldn't have seen, and we saw some things that we did want to see. So, be ready for some graphic things out there, I guess would be the word.
Yeah.
Unique smells. It's what it was, but. We got into Voodoo Donuts, and the rest was history. And we literally promised each other, like, all right, we're getting 4 donuts, and it was obviously
On
my
his
treat.
treat.
Yeah, it was definitely a treat. So, and then not only that, we finished it off with chocolate milk.
Oh my gosh.
That
2.
son of a bitch.
Each.
Yes, yeah. Because I was like, 1 is not going to satisfy us. No, I'm gonna get us 2 chocolate milk per person donuts, and the rest was history. We actually have a photo of Brian just devouring this donut. And
Captain Crunch one?
it was the Captain Crunch one. Like
Yes.
the look on his face, like, and just a satisfaction. It was
Bucket
awesome.
list.
Yeah.
Checked off.
Yeah. So it was, like I said, it was a good rally, and finished it off, came back to San Antonio, I slept like a baby after having those donuts. And just for a quick drive to go get donuts, and then the rest was history after that. But the reason why we're talking about this stuff is like I said, my episode is about cars and life. And that's a life moment right there, and we're talking about our cars and what their capabilities are. Anything outside of that, is just either an additional blessing, or you're just waiting for the next best thing to show up. So,
Right.
I was blessed to meet you. I was blessed to meet everybody during the rally.
Yeah,
So.
likewise.
And the cars by itself, we had some badass cars, and we got to do that again. Like, I can't wait for next year to show up and do this rally all over again. But you're going to be busy for the next couple of months. And I have my Austin rally coming up here in September. I'm excited for that one. It'll be my 6th time doing that, doing that road by itself. But, you know, if things change, you know, you definitely got to come to that rally.
Yeah, I know. I'm supposed to be in Vegas. Supposed to be we'll see how the whole supply of the CT5V Blackwings come out from GM. Yeah, we're waiting on an email right now to see if they're going to have enough vehicles out there to be at the raceway in Vegas, so I can take one around the track and do the whole kind of like driver event thing. So if that doesn't happen, then I'll be available.
Yeah. And are you going to go to SEMA this year?
Yes. We're actually going to have a lot of our employees and leaders of our company going to be out there at SEMA.
How many times have you been to SEMA?
I've been 0.
Wow.
I was supposed to go, had to cancel my trip.
Okay.
This was 2 years ago. And had to basically work, couldn't get it off, lost the flight. It was just a mess, but can't wait for this year.
Well, I can't wait to go this year. It's my first time going as well. And there's so many car shows out there that I really want to go to. Like, I definitely want to go, like I said, SEMA. I want to go to the Geneva Auto Show out in Switzerland, you know, a couple of car shows out in London, maybe. Go down to South America, Brazil, see the car show atmosphere, Tokyo, obviously.
I want to see the nightlife car scene in Japan.
Yeah, that would be epic. You know, when I spoke with Steve about it, like he said, you know, the Tokyo Auto Show is like badass, and he mentioned a specific one, and it's, you know, he knows that crowd. It's his audience out there. Like, he owns, you know, the Japanese market in terms of cars and car shows. And I thought it was just really cool that, you know, we all have our, you know, our different cultures and everything, and even your background, you know, you're part Irish, basically.
Yeah, I'm Irish
and Italian. Yeah, so it's like, it's really cool when you get to bring those cultures. You know, I think genetically, for some odd reason, like it doesn't even matter where you're raised, but genetically, for some odd reason, your actions are always going to be different versus the everyday attitude. You know, and we were having that story over dinner at what was it, County Line Barbecue, and it's just really inspiring. And like I said, every single person is different, but sharing the same culture from a different perspective, it's like, wow, I didn't know like that could actually exist. So it's for sure a blessing. It's for sure a blessing.
Yeah, with you know, when you meet people, when you start modifying your vehicle, and whether it's on a rally, you know, we've obviously chatted before in groups and forums, but now I actually physically get to meet you, hang out with you, get to know you guys. That was a blessing. It was a lot of fun. It was like I've been friends for years. Right. It's really cool how that works out.
The level of respect that goes into it and the depth of value that goes into it, it's like I said, it's really a blessing. And you trust that person to hand over your keys because you develop that type of relationship. You know, it's not that typical person that comes up to you, hey, like, I want to review your car. Like, dude, I don't even know you and you want to drive my car already? Like, bro, I bet I drive the shit out of your car. I only gave my car one time to one person to actually drift it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so his name is Austin, and so he's the owner of Valvetronic Systems.
Oh, yeah.
He's based out of I think he's based out of Boston or Philly, one of the two. And at a show, he has a manual M3. And at a show, I was talking to the guys that were running it. I was like, guys, can I drift my car? And they were like, no, nobody's going to drift their cars. Deep down, I just wanted to be that typical BMW asshole owner. Just like, okay, I'm going to drift my car. But Austin pulls up with his car. And I tell Austin, I'm like, Austin, do you want to drift my car? He's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, drift my car. And he said, fuck yeah, I'm going to drift it. And so him and a couple of other guys, and I'll show you the video, they got in my car and they tore my car up in that parking lot. Like, they drifted the whole entire time. So yeah, my tires were going out already. I didn't care. I was going to get new ones anyways. But, you know, just the joy on their faces. Like I said, it's that trusting thing, you know, and you want to put a show on for people. So
absolutely.
It was epic.
Like, I met my tuner, Roman Katza. We've actually done some texting back and forth before, but he was, you know, one of the main tuners for Boost Logic.
Yeah.
He's one that did the tune and kind of helped build the 2000 GTR.
Right.
2,000 horsepower GTR.
Mhm.
And so he was my tuner for my RS7.
No shit.
And so kind of the next stage for me would be like, port injection,
Right.
zone and rotor turbos,
Right.
larger turbos, and inlets.
No shit.
And obviously some tooling mods too. But,
Right.
but Roman owns Art of Assembly, and like he's brilliant.
I think it's crazy that majority of these tuning companies are now, especially in the Audi world, RS5s, RS6, RS7s, like I said, Audi R8s. They are starting to like work on those platforms hardcore because literally they're just baby Huracans.
Yeah.
And except for the Audi R8, which Tom has, right? And obviously the pinnacle of that car is Hefner, because that's his platform. But all these other tuning companies, they're trying to get up there, So
Yeah, I mean you have Underground Racing,
Mhm.
Dallas Performance,
Mhm.
Hefner, Sheepy Race. I mean, those are some of the top names that come to mind, especially on those platforms.
especially UGR.
Yeah,
UGR is just crazy. When I was-
UGR's.
you been to Texas 2K?
Oh yeah.
Golly, did you go last year or this year?
No, I didn't.
Back in March. No, I went there. It was my first time going. I saw that orange Huracan at 233 miles an hour.
It's ridiculous.
8.1.
It's 100 miles an hour more
Yeah.
than me right now.
At like
It's
8.5
crazy.
seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just
It's crazy.
I saw the car. Breathtaking. You guys got to go to Texas 2K. If nobody has ever experienced it, you're missing out. And it's going to be the last time going to be done in Beaumont next year. Really, it's going to be the last time. After that year, they're going to be going somewhere closer
to Dallas.
That's in the works, but that seems like it.
Talk to Mr. Black.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, they are. It seems like the rumor is that's probably going to be. It's going to be a destination near here. So
Okay, cool.
I'm not going to say where, but I think me and you have the idea of where
Yeah.
it's at.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, if it works out, there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done.
Right.
But
I think Houston's probably tired of us. That whole
well,
South.
Houston cops, like I was talking about it yesterday with Tom actually about that. Like, I think I know the reason, or we all know the reason why they don't want to do it in Beaumont anymore because of the amount of races and the cops and everything. And personally, with my personal experience, like I had a rally down to Houston. It was like 3 or 4 cars. And Brian, I don't know if you've done it. You probably never want to do it. I'm not going to do it again. Like, I'm not taking my car down there ever again during Texas 2K.
Yeah.
The amount of cops, the amount of state troopers that are on 45, and you're going down to Houston, it's a complete shit show.
Yeah.
And then the drivers down in Houston, even worse.
Yeah. Well, they're doing, you have that going on. We have true spectators who just want to come watch some really awesome races,
Right.
right? But then you also have the takeover crowd.
Mhm.
Then you have
Mhm.
the younger crowd who
Mhm.
wants to try to be part of that group, and
They want to blend in.
there's some issues there, and
Obviously.
so it crowds everything and makes it worse.
Yeah, so I think in Dallas they have more respect in terms of that aspect, even though there's still turnovers or takeovers that are out here, which I'm not going to support it. Like, you'll never see me there. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
I don't understand that. So tell me about your funniest experience car wise.
Funniest experience.
I know we've had our good and bad experience, but
Yeah.
talk about your funniest experience.
I would probably say sometimes the reaction of people when they feel like they can take you
Mhm.
in a certain vehicle or something. I would have to say that's probably there's some funny experiences with that because they assume one thing and then they're like, oh, what's this? This guy in a Type R, or whatever, I mean, I think I've had some experiences like that where, some cars that I've had and I've built that have surprised people who had, big V8s, whatever, right?
Right.
My wife would say, and I'm gonna go ahead and probably just say this, but everybody has Parktronic sensors in their bumpers, right?
Mhm.
All right. So she likes to tell the story about how I'm a bad driver.
Okay.
And so even though the beeps are going off like crazy,
Right.
right, I still just kind of ignore the beeps and still kind of sometimes maybe love tap some people by accident, right?
Okay.
And it does damage to our SUV versus to their car. So I recently did this in our QX80, and so she's freaking out. So now it's like a running joke that, well, my husband can't even drive. He can't even park the car right because he has a force field and beeps around him and he still hits things. I'm like, no, whatever. That happened one time, right? Like, it's not all the time.
It only takes one, dude.
I know.
It only takes one, and that's what you'll be remembered for.
Yeah, I know. So now now the world knows. So that my wife doesn't have the chance to tell the story to get the laugh. Everyone's heard the story, so there you go.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All bets are off at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was for you, baby.
I think my funniest experience was me and my dad. I was Gas Monkey Garage had just came out on Discovery Channel or Velocity Channel during that time in the early 2007 2008, and I was in high school at that point, and you know, when you look at them and how they fix their cars and they start selling, you're like, okay, I want to do the same thing. I can do the same thing. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I'm going to find a classic car. Like, it's going to be good. We're going to have fun. And my dumbass, we were living in Capella at the time. I went to Waxahachie to look for this car. Like, how old I was like 16, 17. Like, what kind of 16 or 17-year-old is going to go look for a classic car in Waxahachie, Texas? I go down there and there was a 1972 Ford Mustang Grande. Okay. Now I go there. This car's completely like the paint is gone, and it had one of those leather tops. That's what it's called, a Grande edition. So it had one of those leather tops, and all the tires were flat. And this guy was like, "The car will turn." And I was like, okay, so I guess the car turns on. And I was so excited. I told him, Dad, the car turns on. Like, we're good. And he was like, it turns on. Can you drive it? I was like, no, because the tires are flat. Like, we can't put it in reverse, can't put it in drive. And we were literally starting with the starter fluid on the carburetor. And so I ended up buying the car, I think, like for $1,100, like $1,200. And the guy told me, yeah, this is a 351 Cleveland, like, you're good. It's like, okay, I got a badass motor and everything. So I bring it back to our apartment complex, and sure enough, like, it's down to bits. You know, we get new tires for it. We're starting. I still can't start the car. I put a new fuel pump in it, the full 9 yards, right? And the car still won't start. And so now I got to tow it to my mechanic, and my mechanic finally looks at it. He goes like, okay, I know what, I got to rebuild the carburetor. Fuck. God damn it. Okay. Rebuild the carburetor, fix the fuel line, puts a new fuel tank in it. And I'm like, what? I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So anyways, we bring it back, and he rebuilds the carburetor. I'm like, all right, I'm going to put some brand new oil in it. Right. So I've been about like $200 like worth of oil, and I've already dumped the oil. Right. So I go on top and I'm pouring the oil. Right. I'm pouring the oil, and for some reason, I'm like, that oil is going in really quickly, but why is it not topping off? What am I doing? I'm looking underneath it, and I didn't close the oil pan from underneath, so all that fresh oil just went straight down the oil pan.
Oh my gosh. I've seen that happen. We had a tech just recently, actually, put 42 quarts of oil in a stock unit. Yeah, that was not good. And then it was started and tried to start it and hydrolocked it, and so there's oil coming out of the intake. And it was bad. It needs a motor. So I mean that's a funny story. Not really funny, right, but it kind of is now, but not really.
Right. And I'm just like, and I look under, and I'm like, it's literally all the old oil and the new oil is now like. And dude, my dumbass, I'm like, I think I'm just going to pour all that back.
No, you didn't.
My dad walks out. He's like, what are you doing? I'm just putting oil back in. He's like, he's like, what'd you do? I was like, I poured all the new oil. And it's like, yeah, it's like I was honest with him, right? And he's like, just go get some oil before you go. Put the screw back on. And so I was like, wow, now I just wasted basically like $400 like on oil and all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that was my funny moment. Like, I'm just pour the whole fucking thing. And wow. Just like, wow, okay.
I will tell you this. My father and I went to go look at a Fox Body Mustang before we bought the Integra. And I was so jacked for getting I was like, I want a Fox Body Mustang.
Okay.
I want this black one that we found.
Right.
On the back of the paper back in the day, because we didn't really use the internet to find cars. Sorry, I'm just turned 40, so I'm
right.
Back then, it was like, oh, here's this car, and let's see what it's all about. And so I'm driving it. I'm like, sounds awesome. And I was like, but the exhaust is leaking inside the car. And he's like, we got an exhaust leak somewhere. Of course, he has the mechanical mind, right? Kid. And I'm like, Dad, it's perfect. he goes, roll the windows down, make sure the windows work.
Okay.
Roll the windows down, the window drops like 7, 8 inches. And I go, like that. And he's looking at me, and I'm going, it's not that. We can fix this. This is not that big of a deal, right?
Yeah.
But everything we touched was like broken, on its last leg, sticky. I was like, we can fix it, right? I mean, you can fix it, right? So,
And I bet your dad was, I'm not fixing that.
he said, we get this, I'm going to watch you do it, and you're going to fix everything on this car yourself. And I was like, maybe we probably should get this.
Probably should get that.
So,
Yeah. That's a good choice, son. That's a really good choice. Now, the rest of that story, I want to now get rid of it, right?
Oh, shoot.
I want to get rid of the Mustang. And the guy that comes up to me, he looks at it. He was like, who bought this car? And I said, I did. He's like, you got to study a little bit more on your car research. And I was like, why? He said, because that's not a 351 Cleveland. And I said, excuse me? He said, that is not a 351 Cleveland motor in it. I was like, how the hell do you know? He was like, come here. The door panel, the VIN number. He was like, you see this? This number right here, this letter right here, that means it's the 302. And then he told me, you can take the motor out, and if it's an inch smaller, if the head is an inch smaller, it's a 302. It's not a 351. So I got fucked over. My dad didn't care at that point. He was like, just get rid of the car. And sure enough, I did. And so that was my first time like experiencing something that bad. I think it was our first car that we ever bought that we fixed temporarily. Sold it. Yeah, so that's our funny story. So,
That's funny.
But we definitely got to get another episode in with you. So, and we'll probably do it at the shop with you guys. But everybody wanted to get a general understanding of you, and so I appreciate you coming out here. So, do you have any more questions? Do you have anything else to talk about? We got way too many things to talk about. This is just the first part.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening, which is awesome.
Right.
We have a big. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but we have a pretty awesome partnership about to happen as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually happening. The announcement for the transition is going to start tomorrow.
No shit.
Yeah, so we're bringing on a great person onto our team.
Okay.
And it's going to actually strengthen a partnership we already have.
Okay.
And so you'll start to see that come out with Autoplex Customs and Lewisville Autoplex. So that's going to be a big deal for us.
Right.
And then, we're obviously starting to show, so I actually want to get you on our show as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a reality show that's actually started. We actually the Wednesday before our trip.
Right.
We shot our pilot episode.
Nice.
So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool stuff. And then we're actually going to start doing feature builds for Autoplex Customs on there too.
Nice.
So
Okay.
basically a whole show dedicated to a person's build.
Interesting.
So,
I like that idea.
scenes.
I like that idea.
Kind of like a Saturday, Sunday, truck show.
Right.
Right. That you would wake up and watch, while you're eating donuts.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're going to do that for our clients.
Yeah, and it's funny how you brought that up. But I'm also, I think we've talked about it before, but I'm also going to be thinking about doing a show series myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, so on YouTube. I'm still in the works about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wanted to get you involved. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So
We can put our heads together.
Yeah,
We can figure something out.
We'll
for
talk
sure.
about it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's gonna blow up for sure. So I'm pretty excited about it. But other than that, guys, we're gonna sign off here. So this is Brian Day, obviously with Autoplex Customs out in Lewisville. If you guys want to purchase a car, if you guys want to get a good deal, or you want to get a custom build, this man is for the job. Make sure you fly him. What are your Instagram? You have like 5 Instagram pages. So which one's the primary one they need to go to?
BDays_garage. So BDAYS_garage. That's my personal, and all my other tags are on there as well.
Right.
Autoplex Customs is our company one as well on TikTok, Instagram. We have well over 1 million followers.
Yeah, and I'll put the links on and everything in the comments section or in the bio section. So other than that, thanks a lot for having us, Brian. Thanks for being part of the show.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, for sure. So see you guys. Take care.